Welcome to Stories Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Weldin. Today's story is called Honeystuckle, an adaptation of an Aesop's fable written for you by Daniel Hinds. Thanks. Enjoy the episode. Honeystuckle. Once upon a time, there was a great, greedy grizzly bear named Bruin. He was shaggy and round and eager as a puppy, though no puppy had ever grown quite so big. His fur was gold and brown and caramel, all glistening different colors in the sun, and his tongue was long and pinkish purple. By day, Bruin feasted on nuts and fish and berries, and by night he slept in a cozy cave nestled under some pine trees. The greedy bear was friendly enough, as long as no one messed with his food. One day, Bruin was out sniffing after some sweets. He was hoping to find some berries or maybe even some chocolate left behind by human campers, but instead he found the jackpot. A giant honeycomb had fallen from a bee's hive and broke open on the ground. It smelled so good Bruin could hardly stand it, all glistening gold and sticky sweet. The big bear wanted to devour it right then and there, but then he thought harder about it, his long tongue curling out while he pondered. "I want to swallow it whole, but I should save it," he decided, talking to himself in a serious voice. "If I don't eat it now, I can eat it later. It'll be dessert. I love dessert." Decision made, Bruin picked up the honeycomb and brought it back to his cave. In his grassy little front yard, he had a shady stump. It was there he set the honeycomb. Then he took a couple licks just for the energy, and then he headed out to the stream to fish. A belly full of fish was just what he needed to work up an appetite for honey. "You sit tight, honey," he said. "I'll be back for you soon." Bruin wasn't worried about leaving the treat behind. He knew all the other animals could smell the bear smell, and they'd be too afraid to try and steal from him. The last animal that had tried was swatted so hard he hibernated for 3 years straight. And when he woke up, he thought his ears were a hat. "No one will mess with my food," Bruin thought. He was right, but he was wrong, too. The bigger animals, like the skunks and badgers and rabbits, they knew to stay away from the big bear's cave. The little itty-bitty bugs, though, they were never above a bit of stealing, especially when they thought they could get away with it, and especially when it was honey. The first to come, as always, were the ants. They could smell a sweet treat from miles away and made a nice orderly row climbing up the stump towards the honey. "Hold rank," said the lead ant, an old man they all called General. "Honey ahead. Anyone have eyes on the bear?" "Sir, no, sir," called back some nearby ants on high alert. The little critters did everything as an army. They marched up over the stump and waded into the honey as an army, too, planning to steal all they could carry. "There's so much honey here," said an ant. "More than even all of us can carry." "I don't like that attitude, soldier," barked General. "Everyone just keep scooping it up. When your arms are full, then fill your legs. When your legs are full, then fill your mouths. When you can't carry another drop, dig deep and carry just a little bit more." "Sir, yes, sir," they called, and nearly 100 ants got to work. It was slow going, as the honey was deep and sticky, but they did their very best, singing as they went. "Steal, steal, stealing honey, eating it all day. The bear won't share and we don't care, we'll take it all away." The ants sang and ate and sang. Soon they heard a distant humming, and they all froze, honey dripping from every limb. "What is it, troops?" asked General. "Is it the bear? We can't be caught stealing." "Negative, sir," said an ant with especially sharp eyes. "It's the flies." "Oh, the flies," said General. "Should we prepare for battle, sir?" "No, there's plenty of honey here for all of us. Let's not start a battle where there's no need." A minute later, the hum turned into a buzz as a swarm of flies descended on the honeycomb. They were small and flighty, with bulbous eyes and long tongues that sucked up honey like straws. "Oh, hello, ants," said the lead fly, a long winged pest by the name of Schlorp. I see you found some honey. By the smell of this place, though, it belongs to the bear.
Maybe it does,
said General, his aunts looking on.
Are you going to tell on us?
Well, not if you don't tell on us, said Schlorp.
It's a deal.
The flies all landed and began to slurp up honey with their tubey tongues. The ants kept to one side and the flies to the other. It was afternoon now, and the honey was warm from the sun. They sank into it as they ate, but were able to pull free with sucking, slurping sounds. It was basically heaven. The ants started singing again, and this time the flies joined in.
Steal, steal, stealing honey.
Steal, steal, stealing honey.
The bear won't share all day.
The bear won't share and we don't care. We'll take it all away. Steal, steal, stealing honey.
The bear won't share all day.
The bear won't share and we don't care. We'll take it all away. They sang and ate and sang, but they always kept one eye out for Bruin. They were worried the bear would come back and find them stealing his dessert, but the big grizzly was still busy at the stream looking for fish. As the day wore on and the sun started to sink, the general and Schlorp looked at each other. We should probably be heading out soon, said Schlorp. The bear will be back after dark for his dessert.
Let's load up a little more troops,
called General. Us too, gang, said Schlorp. Suddenly, they were surrounded by silent, drifting shadows. Looking up, they saw a small cloud of moths approaching on shining, silent wings. They fluttered down slowly, drifting and bobbing like snowflakes on the wind.
10 hut,
barked General.
We have incoming aerial enemies.
No enemies here, said Silky, the queen of the moths. She was wide and pale and lovely. We came to steal the bear's honey, but we see you've already beaten us to it. She looked down at the honeycomb, still nearly overflowing with sweet golden nectar. Oh, but maybe there's still some here after all. General and Schlorp looked at each other and shrugged. There was enough to go around, and there was no sense fighting. The bear would have it all at the end of the day, regardless.
All right, then,
said General.
Join us, but better hurry. The bear won't be gone for too much longer.
We'll get right to it, then, said Silky, and the moths landed with the ants and the flies. They all began to eat and gather honey as fast as they could.
Steal, steal, stealing honey.
Steal, steal, stealing honey.
The bear won't share, stealing honey.
The bear won't share and we don't care. We'll
the bear won't share and we don't care. We'll take it all away.
The
bear won't share, stealing honey.
The bear won't share and we don't care.
The bear won't share and we don't care. We'll take it all away. The bear won't share, stealing honey.
The bear won't share and we don't care.
The bear won't share and we don't care. We'll take it all away.
They sang and ate and sang, and the sun set, and it got colder and colder. As the temperature fell, the honey began to get less sticky and more thick. Soon it was a smooth, golden skating rink, still and solid and hard as ice.
Good day of fishing,
Bruin the bear said to himself, approaching his cave.
Now it's time for dessert.
He's back, said Schlorp.
Double time, troops,
said General.
We gotta move, move, move!
The ants tried to march, and the flies tried to buzz, and the moths tried to flutter, but it was no use. The honey was too cold, and now it was rock solid. They were all stuck inside. General, cried an ant, we're caught! We should never have stolen, cried a fly, buzzing her wings uselessly. Bruin padded up to his cave, his breath all fishy and his tawny fur shining in the moonlight. He walked over to the stump where he had left his honeycomb and saw it was studded with ants and flies and moths.
Oh, looks like my dessert attracted an appetizer.
The little thieves all shouted, but their tiny voices couldn't reach Bruin's big shaggy ears. In mere moments, the thieves were sent stumbling, tumbling right into the big bear's belly. Now that was delicious, Bruin said to himself. Sure was nice of all those bugs to get stuck for me. And with that, he ambled into his cave and settled in for a cozy night's sleep. The end. Thanks for listening.